Welcome to the X-PYR 2022 pre-race. I'm just doing some prep and going around through the Pyrenees. So I'll introduce you to the various turn points. You can get an idea of how epic this race is going to be and what we're up against. So today I'm at Pic de Midi, de Bigorre, which is turn point number 5. When I keep looking up, it's because I'm looking up at the turn point behind you. I'll show you that in a while, but it's epic. It's really big. There's a massive rock above us, and I'm in the valley that leads out to the southwest. It's quite a narrow valley and pretty scary, and everything's going to be bolted down. You're tied to a rock because the wind is just pulling through here, and it's the kind of scary terrain that's very intimidating to launch from. I think I want to be flying when I come through here because to try and make the launch decision when you're on ground like this is really, really hard. Let me know if you guys are getting the sound through. It's always a bit of a puzzle with getting the live streaming going. So just let me know in the comments. I can see them popping up if you're getting the audio, and that's all good. I see some comments there. Sound is good. Thanks, James. Okay, fantastic. So yeah, we've walked up from Col de Tourmalet, which is just around the corner, which is one of the famous cycling parts in the Tour de France. And yeah, man, it's a big cycle up. You know, it's at about 2,000 meters at the top of the pass, and it's a long, winding pass which comes round from the front side, from the sort of easterly side. So, you know, getting to this turn point is going to be quite hard. We'd be flying from the east, from turn point 4, which I showed you yesterday, Arbas. Arbas was quite mellow by comparison, of just trees and an open valley in front. So not intimidating to fly. You know, even if you make the wrong call and the wind's strong, you can come out into the valley. Whereas here, man, wherever you look, there are peaks in front of you. And the wind while we were coming up here is just, you know, it batters you from different directions as you're walking along. You know, you can't work it out. It's like it's coming down the hill, and then the next minute it's coming up. And there have been quite a lot of the vultures. I think they're the Egyptian vultures. I think the protected ones in this area. There's many of these really big birds of prey gliding around. And there's one up here. He might be just out of shot, but they're gliding around, making it look like, you know, silly paraglider pilot, why aren't you flying? You know, it is thermal up, but the speed that they can attain is incredible. So they will just glide into wind and cross the valley. They've got freedom. That's what I want to be. I mean, in this terrain, you want to have a wing set like that can just fold in and go at 150 kilometers an hour, whatever they can do. They're certainly moving around the sky. But I'm feeling like I'd want to see other paragliders flying, not being a local in this area with this sort of wind. And on the wind forecasts, all I can see is sort of 50 kilometers an hour, 60 kilometers an hour at altitude. And then down in the valley, it seems to be doing something different, every valley pulling around. So, yeah, not so easy to make this sort of flying call. Obviously, you can walk this piece. This is a really nice walk in, and there's a walking trail all the way to the turn point, but that's super slow. So I think this turn point is going to be probably the crux move in the race. Is going to really make a big difference. The pilots that can fly through here on a light wind day with no cloud, because it's so high, the cloud base could be a problem as well. If you've got low cloud base in this area, it's super dangerous to come in here. So you'd need a day where ideally I'm looking to come in here in the afternoon when it's that sort of valley release, like light westerly flow up the west faces. And then you can soar in here and soar in front of the turn point and soar back out again and get the hell out of here. This is very intimidating to fly in here. And from here, we've got to go over to Spain. So over the big peaks behind Bagneres de Luchon, over to Castellon and down that way. So from this point, and yeah, I would say from turnpoint 5, the race gets super high level. This is where the mountain stuff really starts. We've got a bit before coming through and getting over Kipenia Montanesa and coming over to Arbas. But that I kind of understand a little bit more, and I think it's a little bit more manageable. This piece from here through, that's when it's really going to turn on. So look forward to seeing this piece. Just give me a sec. I'm just going to try and get some of the live chat messages up and try and see you guys. Excuse me if I squint, but I can't see the screen otherwise. Hey ASL from Canada, nice to see you. Thanks, Dan. Yeah, at this point, I'm all very happy and in good shape. It's just I'm getting acclimatization now, so just doing the hike up. We're probably going to hike up to the turnpoint itself. It's a sort of 500-meter ascent from here, but we're already at 2,300 meters. So this is really good for me as a coastal boy to get used to the altitude and let my body adapt, and also just get used to the daily strain of carrying the bag uphill and just being in the sun and getting used to things. I'm not too fussed about flying today, being that I don't need to take extra risk before the race. The race is going to be damn risky enough as it is. And in the race, having said that, I'm pretty chilled out about the risk level in the race because I'm not prepared to fly in sketchy stuff. So my whole approach for the race is going to be really chilled out, like just flying when I can see things and I understand things and making good flying calls and flying in good flying conditions. And if things are looking sketchy, I don't feel it's wise to push and to try and race tired in that sort of environment. So if I don't understand things, I'll be on the ground moving slowly and just kind of positioning myself for the flying opportunities and just taking every flying opportunity possible. That's what I'm aimed at doing. But yeah, this is such a brilliant area to be in. Just to be hiking and experiencing it is super good. I'm very blessed to be able to have this opportunity. And yeah, let me show you around a little bit. It's going to be a bit shaky because I haven't got stabilization, so forgive me, but I'll do my best. And it's pretty windy up here. Let's take you off the rock. Yeah, it's better if you're off the rock. There we go. So now you're out into the wind. If I hunker down, you might get better wind like that. So let's go slowly around, give you a slow pan. We're looking up there. That's towards Kolibri is down behind that thing. So that's the direction we're going to have to fly. We're going to have to cross that stuff. And we are heading that way. So Courtney's down there, my supporter, playing with the llamas. We've got loads of llamas. And if we take you around like this, you can see peak to Midi to Bigorre. That's the turn point we're heading for. And from there, flying out that way. So you can see it's all pretty big scale here. It's quite a big deal to get in here on a paraglider and get back out. And I've been watching the clouds in the valley, and it's really hard to understand what's really happening because the wind seems to be, the clouds in the valley move one way, then they move the other way, then they get scooped up and pushed up in the middle, and then suddenly everything's flattened out. So I kind of feel like all of these valleys on this side behind me are being affected by wind pushing over the mountain and things getting turned into the valley. So it makes me a little bit nervous of trying to fly in this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's just when the guys come through here, you can appreciate on live tracking it might look simple, like the guys are just soaring around and flying, but bear in mind, I think everybody's going to be fairly intimidated in this area, just looking at the the terrain. There's no real easy escape unless you've got altitude. And if you choose the wrong line and you get into the sink behind one of these fins, you then get pushed down into a pretty narrow valley system, which isn't easy to escape from. It's just me catching the camera from getting blown off the rock. Yeah, you can see the wind here and the fountain of youth down there. It's a pretty refreshing swim. Might try and brave that a bit later. Oh, cool. Okay, so that's Pic to Midi de Bigorre. I'll keep you updated if we get a flying opportunity later and the wind drops off a little bit. I can get in the air and give you another update. Plan is to head over to Peña which is on the Spanish side. So I'm going to do that line that I'll need to fly and check that crossing, and also go across to Candanchu and through to Acus, which is our other transition. So that's going to be a bit of research there. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to find things here. Hey, Alan, nice to see you. And Oscar from Turkey. I don't know this country. I know Turkey. Yes, I was in Turkey for SRV stuff with jockey. This place, the Pyrenees, I'm not very familiar with. I mean, this is the first time that I've been here as Pic to Midi. I've flown a Volvo route and I've flown the X-PYR before. And I've flown a bit in Luchon, Luchon is back that way. So I sort of understand this area. And I'm more comfortable on the Spanish side. It's more like South African flying that I'm used to. So I'm hoping to get into Spain and being able to race on that side quite nicely. I'm also quite happy over here. Sort of, the lower hills on the French side with the forest and that's kind of chilled out flying. So I'm not too stressed about it, and that's quite nice. But it is going to be slower. So yeah, wow, there goes the wind. Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. So I'm gonna break it off there. We're gonna keep these live streams about 10 minutes every time, just to save power and battery and stuff. And I'll update you about all the other turn points. And then when we get to the race briefing, I'll introduce you to the athletes, and then we can start the race. See you soon. Cheers. Bye from a windy peak.